Okay, hello everyone. This is Dr. Kamani, licensed clinical psychologist. I am here for Black Women We Deserve Joy, the free 5-day challenge. I'm in my yard right now. We're on day 4, and I have again a special guest, Nicole Jackson. And we are going to do joy in action today. So I know that I've talked several times about ways that we are connecting to our joy and that we are doing so in a way that's free, that's accessible. And so I want to just show you some of the ways that we can connect to our joy. So I've invited Nicole to come. We've been talking about a lot of different joy nuggets. So you're going to get a joy nugget today where you're going to actually see me doing a joy nugget. Okay. So I brought Nicole in because she talks about nature therapy. And so as I'm out in my garden and I talk a lot about removing the weeds in our lives, that those things, those people who really threaten our well-being, our growth. And so Nicole is here to kind of walk us through this process as I'm removing and I'm connecting to the earth. So I'm going to turn it over to Nicole for an introduction, and then we're going to go right into our joy nugget activity. So Nicole.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me again, Dr. Kamani. I'm really excited for this because today is September 22nd, is the first day of fall, which means there is a beginning, but also ending. So the beginning of fall, but also the ending of summer, which makes me think about nature even more because things are transitioning, starting to slow down, but things are very much still alive. We aren't in dormancy mode like we see in winter. So I'm really excited to talk a little bit more about how gardening helps us with our joy, but also kind of some tips and tricks for if you want to get started with gardening indoors or outdoors.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, everybody, because I'm streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So I'm just trying to make sure everybody can hear. Okay. So, Nicole, we talked about, sometimes as we grow, that we have to remove the weeds out of our lives, right? The dead growth, because it impedes our growth, right? And it impedes our joy. And also, we're going to talk about and actually do an activity of connecting to the earth. Can you share with the audience about the importance and how connecting to the earth really helps to facilitate our joy?
Yeah, so I feel like there's so many opportunities to really connect our physical self to the earth and really getting our hands dirty. And I know that, for some people that doesn't sound pleasant, but really taking that time to physically ground yourself, whether you're standing, you're sitting, or even putting your hands in the soil. And the importance of putting your hands in the soil really connects you to the earth. They're really unique, specific bacteria, good bacteria in the earth that activates and increases your serotonin levels, which connects to happiness and reduces things like depression and anxiety. And I feel like that's really a good way and a good start to really start feeling the earth and being present and noticing how it's transforming your body and your mental.
Yeah. So in terms of having that connection to the earth, it just feels good, right? And it feels therapeutic and it helps you to connect on a different level, right? And I think it's just a movement too, right? In terms of connection to the
Mm-hmm.
earth. So I'm actually, as you're talking, Nicole, can you tell a little bit in terms of plants and how plants can be helpful in helping us to connect our joy, and particularly planting plants? So I'm going to be doing that as you're talking.
Yeah, so plants are a life force. They use air, they use water, nutrients from the soil, and it's kind of a connection and a reminder for us that we utilize plants to be able to breathe air. It's providing air to us, these plants, but also we're putting out carbon dioxide, which is helping the plants as well. So it's this symbiotic relationship that's happening. And it's very, very important. And I feel like that's that kind of like beginning level starter relationship with plants, nature, and the soil, and digging even deeper, thinking about the layers of what plants have to offer. There's beauty, there's food, there's medicine. So there's a lot of different things that plants offer us on a very I guess, more like meta level when it comes to thinking about happiness and joy and our mental health. But then also there's the science of that and how that relationship connects to our body and helps us with our physical, our mental, our emotional, even when it comes to the neurotransmitters, the serotonin levels, all of that, like high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, all of those things kind of work hand in hand.
Yes. And, I really wanted to highlight too, Nicole, that, as we talked about plants and things like that, and all the therapeutic aspects that plants have and nature and connecting to nature and joy, that it's really easy to connect to nature, right? And, I did this in less than 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So, a lot of times we say, oh, it takes too much time. We don't have the time. It's very easy. Boom, right? And when we think about the cost, I just took one of our household plants that kind of grew too much, and now I'm planting it into the garden, right?
Yes.
And so again, it's creative ways of thinking about how to connect to our joy. So Nicole, I'm wondering if you could share with the audience again in terms of how people can access you, your services, and what you have to offer in terms of nature therapy. And actually, what is nature therapy? People might be like, what is that?
Yeah, so nature therapy, you're utilizing nature to help you reduce your stress and anxiety, and really thinking about ways that you can tune into yourself and have more of that grounding feeling when you're feeling stressed, especially in stressful places. Like, for instance, you're talking about work environments. Those can be very stressful places, and thinking about how gardening or how plants affect our anxiety and stress levels in those toxic environments, sometimes toxic environments. And I think having plants is a form of therapy in an office space, whether you're working from home or actually in the office. Including more plant life really does wonders for your mental health and for your stress levels. I feel like it without really doing very much, like, it does have so many benefits when we really pay attention to that relationship and what we're giving and what we're being offered by nature in very small spaces.
Yeah, so right, you don't need a lot of space either. So, and you also mentioned before, like some plants that help cleanse the air in our homes. What were those plants again?
Yeah, so there's a few. I actually want to mention, if you don't have a lot of space outdoors and you want to actually start thinking about plants and bringing those into your home, whether you have an apartment, a house, and you kind of want to just start incorporating small plants in small spaces, nooks, crevices of your home or apartment. It's good to start with, for example, a lucky bamboo plant, which is actually not a plant. I have mine here. It is actually a grass. So I have mine here, and it grows really fast. So it needs indirect sunlight. And you want to make sure when you're watering it, it's about, I would say, every 7 to 10 days you're watering it, but you want to make sure the roots are submerged in the water, and that you have kind of like rocks or gravel to help anchor and support it, so it's not leaning too much. And then you want to make sure that it's not being put in direct sunlight or even in cold areas, because that can cause the leaves to start to brown, or even too much water can cause it to rot, or have a really weird, bad smelling odor. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to those things. And this is a really cool office plant because, it's very small. You don't need a big area for it, but also it's a lucky bamboo plant. So it represents flexibility and freedom. And that really, I guess, adds to the joy of your life too.
Yes, freedom absolutely equates to joy. Absolutely. And I think you mentioned the snake plant, and was it?
Yeah, so there's the other plants that you can consider are air plants, which are actually called epiphytes. And we're used to seeing those in environments like rainforests or jungles. And they actually don't have roots, but they do have these kind of appendages that attach to, like, a tree in their natural environment. But if you were to buy one, they're kind of alien looking because they kind of look like tentacles.
Okay.
But they're actually pulling nutrients and oxygen from the air, so they don't need soil. So it's a really good, air plants are really good to use for decorations. You can, if you're a really creative person, you can create spaces where you're expanding based on the look or the flowers of, there's over 650 different types. So there's definitely a variety that you can explore with if you're really into decorating your space, outside of just taking care of it with, you know, planting and watering. So that's a really fun one. And then examples of that would be snake plant. There's a plant called philodendron, and you can actually take clippings as the plant is like growing down. So these are types of plants that you can hang on your porch, in a room with just like a basic like basket or hook, or even put it in like for decorative purposes, like a glass container that you can turn into a terrarium and make
it a terrarium? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
What is that?
You can create a terrarium. Is kind of like it's like a visual, like a glass bowl, and they're, you know, come in many different sizes, but you would put, you know, like sand, rocks,
I've seen that.
Sometimes soil,
yeah.
And then you can place the small air plants in that as a decoration, a form of decoration, while you're taking care of it and maintaining it. So again, that's part of the decorative draw to that. And then you have succulents, which they're very interesting because you don't want to give them direct sunlight. And it can burn the plant, and you want to make sure that you're rotating. So when you have succulents, and they're kind of like a thick, fleshy, water storing organ, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the leaves, the stems, and the roots hold water. So you don't want to give these plants a lot of water either. They're very drought tolerant. And again, maintenance is easy. You probably want to, I would say maybe every week water the plant, but you don't want to overwater it because it can rot and it can stop growing how it should. So succulents are really fun. And then the other one that I'm thinking of, oh my goodness, aloe vera. So aloe vera is a succulent, and I don't know how familiar you are with aloe vera, but it's medicinal. And thinking about hair care, especially for Black women, you can actually
I use it on my braids, everybody. You know, when your hair is tight, when you get your braids done, it really helps out, the aloe vera.
Yes. And it seals the cuticle, the hair cuticle, and it prevents frizz. You can actually, just take off a leaf, cut it lengthwise, and like scoop out the gelatinous part. You can whisk it with olive oil or coconut oil and mix it with a little bit of water and use it as a kind of like a conditioner. So or massage it into your hair, leave it for an hour and then rinse it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of another, have the benefits of hair care, but then also it's medicinal. Like if you get cuts or scrapes or burns, you can actually put that onto your skin, and it can be very soothing for burns and cuts.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have an aloe tree plant, right? And I use it all the time for my braids, or like you said, like a cut or something like that to help with healing. And there's so much around us that really helps us heal, right? Which is so important. Yes. And so much around us to bring us joy, but we need to just pause and take those moments to recognize all the beauty around us and how much healing is around us, and really take advantage of that. So Nicole, I want to thank you again for joining me. And it was like very last minute. I had this idea. Yeah. I contacted Nicole. I was like, hey, Nicole, I have this idea. And she was completely on board. So I just appreciate you taking the time, sharing with people about nature therapy, sharing with people about simple ways to connect to nature, because it's so important to do that, and how we can really center our joy through nature, right? I always say it's my happy place, right? Out in the garden, it's my happy place. So to the audience, I want to say again, thank you for tuning in. This is day 4 of the Black Women We Deserve Joy Challenge. Today we offer another joy nugget in terms of plants and nature, connecting to nature as you are removing the negative toxic things out of your life and you are planting, right? You're connecting to the earth. And also Nicole talked about toxicity, like removing toxicity from your home, from your office. There are plants that can help you do that, right? So really just keep that in mind and get that toxicity out of your air, okay? So I want to just share with the audience also that tomorrow is day 5, the last day of the challenge. And so I encourage you for today, if you could do something to connect to nature, and maybe by tomorrow do other things that connect to nature. So you just start having more of that connection. If it's just going outside and just, breathing outside, or if it's planting a plant, or if it's watering your plant, something that's connecting you to nature, okay? So day 5, it's a very special day for the last day of the challenge. So I'll be sharing very special information with you guys as I've been talking to you all week about it. And then we're going to have a very special guest. The author of Blackjoy is going to be here with us. So we're going to have a very lively, powerful conversation. So again, tune in tomorrow. I'll be on a little earlier tomorrow. So I'll be on 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central, and 1:30 Pacific time. So I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. And if you still have not signed up for the challenge, it's not too late. You can still sign up. I'll have the link in the description section. You'll be getting the replays, an overview of what we talked about, and it will just let you know we're going live again, okay? So again, thank you, Nicole. I so appreciate you. And to the audience, have a good rest of your day. Be joyful, connect to nature, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Stay on, Nicole.